Below the post slides up to the 90-degree window. The ball drives below the post. The post slides up to the 45-degree window. The ball drives above the post. The post slides down to the short corner. Layer 5, the speed dribble.
East-west dribbles could easily be titled 3 forms of pressure release: speed dribble, power dribble, circle reverse. The first one, the speed dribble, should be included in the basics. The power dribble and circle reverse are a bit more advanced and should be introduced only when you see the need or when your team has mastered all the basics. As an example, if you coach a high-level team, the speed dribble, power dribble, and circle reverse might be taught in that order in only 1, 2, or at most 3 weeks. But if you're coaching at the youth level, the progression might take years, like this. The speed dribble would be part of the fundamentals of the basic offense, something you'll put in the first year. But the power dribble might not be added until the next year, with the circle reverse being added the following year. My best advice to youth coaches is to err on the side of simplicity. Cook your players until they can play by principle in that layer. Add the power dribble and circle reverse only under 2 conditions. Only when your players' abilities and skill levels will allow it, and only when the defense evolves to the point where you need to counter them.
Speed dribble.
The speed dribble is used by the ball handler to force a teammate to basket cut and vacate his or her position. On the most elementary level, this occurs because the ball handler sees a good opportunity for a rear cut that his teammate doesn't. Let's face it, sometimes your own teammate, 1 pass away, goes brain dead and doesn't recognize that his defender is over the read line. He should rear cut, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't see it. However, the ball handler does see it. And here comes the 2-player read and reaction that must be drilled to the point of habit for this layer. The ball handler forces the basket cut by dribbling straight at him with a speed dribble. The backdoor bounce pass can be made right off the dribble. If the ball handler does not make the pass, then he takes the cutter's spot on the perimeter. This speed dribble option is an instance where a better player is not hindered by a teammate with a lower skill level or less savvy. The smarter player can create a good situation whether his teammate sees it or not. Here's a case of your team not being only as strong as your weakest link. Both players don't have to be on the same mental page. The high IQ player reads the situation and initiates the action without his teammate knowing why until after the fact. On a more advanced level, using the speed dribble directly at a teammate is a way for a smart ball handler to do one of 3 things. He might want to get his entire team moving for whatever reason. If he keeps his dribble, he can force basket cuts from everyone. If the cutter can create a good posting matchup, then the ball handler can use the speed dribble to send him into the post area and feed him the ball. At a more advanced level, the basket cut forced by the speed dribble might not be the scoring opportunity that the ball handler has in mind. It could be a fake used to set up the opposite perimeter player for a fill the spot, overplayed backdoor. In other words, the ball handler speed dribbles without any intention of making the rear cut pass. In fact, the player that's forced to rear cut might not be overplayed at all. But now the ball handler can reverse his attention to the spot that he left in order to appear as if he's in trouble and needs relief. This can sucker the defender into believing there's a chance to steal the pass and get a dunk on the other end. When he commits and steps over the read line, the rear cut is open and the ball handler makes the play he intended all along.
3-player drills to build 2-player reaction habits. Layer 6, the power dribble.
This is the first layer where ball screens are introduced. I've been reluctant until now because most players don't know how to pick and roll effectively. But more importantly, I've hesitated because bringing another offensive player along with his defender close to the ball violates spacing, and if the players aren't properly trained, the ball screen can create better things for the defense than it does for the offense. First of all, why do I call it a form of pressure relief? Here's why. Pretend the player with the ball is being pressured or is simply uncomfortable with the ball for whatever reason. Let's also pretend that they're not confident enough at the moment to penetrate or use a speed dribble, and he or she wants to give up the ball in the safest manner possible. The power dribble pick and roll handoff becomes a safe way to relieve the pressure and yet still have a scoring opportunity. There's another reason for using the power dribble other than pressure relief. Good inside players can use it as a means of getting off the perimeter and getting to the post while trying to score on the pick and roll at the same time. If they decide to post up and remain inside, you'll notice another use for the power dribble. It becomes a natural way to change the team's formation from 5 out to 4 out 1 in, or from 4 out to 3 out 2 in.
Executing the power dribble pick and roll handoff.
Here is the 2-man read and reaction habit that makes up this layer. And remember, you don't need your entire team to drill it. The way I introduce this ball screen is a bit unorthodox because the ball handler is the one who will set the screen. He signals that he wants a pick and roll handoff by taking a power dribble stance for safety's sake and step slides toward his teammate. This power dribble stance must be so extreme that his teammate cannot mistake it for a speed dribble. I help this exaggeration by requiring the ball handler to step across and almost turn his back to the goal. This is a slow and deliberate dribble. It requires very little dribbling skill, and yet it's a strong and safe stance. When his teammate sees the power dribble coming, he V-cuts, faking the basket cut in order to set up his defender. He then circles to the outside to receive the ball. Ordinarily, players give a little shovel pass in the air to make this exchange, but this is dangerous and allows space for the defender between the screen and the ball. Instead, the ball handler is going to put the hand closest to his teammate up on top of the ball and raise his elbow. With the other hand firmly under the ball, a keyhole is created for the cutter's inside hand. The cutter reaches through the keyhole and takes the ball with a snap. Doing so forces the players to go body to body, leaving no room for a defender to squeeze through. Notice I said snap the ball out of the keyhole. The ball handler should look to snatch the ball, immediately put it on the floor, and turn the corner to the goal. I want the ball handler to put pressure on the defense by attacking north-south when he comes off the screen.